Thank you very much. ISKCON founder Chairman Bhakti Swami Jai Om Vishnu Paramahamsa Parivajagacharya Stu-Tirasvata Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Anant Budi Vaishnava Namacharya Sri Radharasa Prem to Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopal Gopinashana Radha Kundagiri Bharavan Vrindavan Ki Madhuradam Ki Navadu Maikudam Ki Jamuna Maiki Ganges Maiki Tulasi Devi Ki Bhakti Devi Samaveta Bhakti Devi Itai Goda Vimana All glorious assembly All glorious assembly All glorious assembly Glory to Shishi Guru Shri Gauranga
Vande Am Shri Guru Shri साग्रजातं शरणरत्नार्पितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादां सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितां च कृष्णपरमासिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी विश्वानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
श्रीमद् भागवतम की
जय।
श्रील प्रभुपाद की
जय।
श्रीमद् भागवतम कंप्लीट chapter 15 in book text number 7. Description of the kingdom of God. Okay. Tesam upakvayoganam jitasva sendriyatmanam bhaktha yusmadvara dhanam bhaktha yusmad prasadanam na kutaschit parabhavan tesam supakvayoganam jitasva sendriyatmanam labdha yusmad prasadanam na kutaschit parabhavan tesam supakvayoganam jitasva sendriyatmanam labdha yusmad prasadanam na kutaschit parabhavan
तेषां सुपक्वयोगानां जितस्वासेन्द्रियात्मनां लब्धयुष्मत्प्रसादानां न कुतश्चित् पराभव तेषां सुपक्वयोगानां जितस्वासेन्द्रियात्मनां लब्धयुष्मत्प्रसादानां न कुतश्चित् पराभव तेषां सुपक्वयोगानां जितस्वासेन्द्रियात्मनां प्रसादानां
न कुतश्चित् पराभव
न कुतश्चित् पराभव
तेषां सुपक्वयोगानां
जितस्वसेन्द्रियात्मनां
लब्ध्वा युष्मत्प्रसादानां न कुतश्चित् पराभव
न कुतश्चित् पराभव
Kshaṃ
of them
Supakwa Yoganam who are mature mystics. Jita control. Swasa breath. Indriya the senses. Atmanam the mind. Labdha attain. Yushmat your. Prasadanam mercy. Na not. Kutaschit anywhere. Parabhava defeat. Translation and purpose by Divine Grace. See Bhakti Swami Srila Prabhupada. There is no defeat in this material world for persons who control the mind and senses by controlling the breathing process, and who are therefore experienced, mature mystics. This is because by such perfection in yoga, they have attained your mercy. For what? The purpose of yogic performances is explained here. It is said that an experienced mystic attains full control of the senses and the mind by controlling the breathing process. Therefore, controlling the breathing process is not the ultimate aim of yoga. The real purpose of yogic performance is to control the mind and the senses. Anyone who has such control is to be understood to be an experienced, mature mystic yogi. It is indicated herein that a yogi who has control over the mind and senses has the actual benediction of the Lord. He has no fear. In other words, one cannot attain the mercy and benediction of the Supreme Lord until one is able to control the mind and senses. This is actually possible when one fully engages in consciousness. A person whose senses and mind are always engaged in the transcendental service of the Lord has no possibility of engaging in material activities. The devotees of the Lord are not defeated anywhere in the universe. It is stated, Narayana Para. One who is Narayana Para, or a devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is not afraid anywhere, whether he is sent to hell or promoted to heaven. Bhagavatam 6:17 28. This is spoken by Lord Shiva, glorifying 𝐶𝐻𝐻 Maharaj. Lord Shiva is glorifying the divinity of Krishna. 𝐶𝐻𝐻 was cursed by Parvati. He offered obeisances to her and called her my dear mother. Who can do that? One who curses you is your friend? One who is cursing you is your friend? Is that well wisher?
Yes.
Yes. No, for one who has no control over the senses. For one who has no control of the mind, no. For one whose mind is controlled, yes. Yes. Why yes? Narayana Para. A pure devotee has no auspicious or inauspiciousness. The devotee of Krishna is always transcendent. So those whose mind are fully controlled, they are situated in transcendence by Krishna's blessing. By Krishna's blessing. Just 1%. By Krishna's blessing. So in this book, we can see the importance of controlling the mind and the senses. What is the importance of controlling the mind and the senses? One will never be defeated anytime by anything, anyone in this world. One is a conqueror. When you hear Arjuna address Bhakti, the conqueror of the enemies, you hear the Pandavas, Parikshit Maharaj addressed as the conqueror of the enemies. It means they have full control over the mind. The mind does not control it. So we are not looking at somebody who is cursing us. The person who curses us is not our enemy. The mind is our enemy. So one who has controlled the mind has no enemy. We are free, and nothing can defeat a person who has control over the mind. If we want to control the senses, we should control the mind first, not the senses. The mind. Because the mind is the leader of all the senses. So if the leader is captured, the dependents automatically are captured. If the mind is not controlled, but other senses are controlled, we are still defeated. We have not done anything yet. If the senses are controlled, but the mind is not controlled, we have not done anything yet. We are still in danger. If the mind is controlled, we are free from danger. Completely free. So, my ceremony is speaking. There is no defeat in this material world for persons who control the mind and the senses. No defeat. So when Parvati cursed 𝐶𝐻𝐻 Maharaj, offered her obeisances. There was no malice, there was no grudge, there was no retaliation. There's nothing like, okay, you are my enemy for life. It was not there. He offered obeisance to her and called her my dear mother. It was not pretense. It was real from his mind. That is how he sees things. Why? The mind is controlled. According to Bhagavad Gita, one who has not controlled the mind will live perpetually in trouble. Always in trouble. One who has controlled the mind is free, completely free. You are just like air. You can move anywhere. Anywhere. You can go anywhere. You can do anything. There is no problem. Because if the mind is controlled, who can control the mind? Is Swami Ceremony?
No.
Yogis? Gyanis?
No.
Karmis? Who can control the mind? Why only devotees? Why? The mind is engaged in that's how to control the mind. The mind is engaged in planning our activities in Krishna. If we want to succeed in anything, engage the mind in that activity. By planning it, how to plan. So I want to build a temple for Krishna. Okay, that's a project. Or I want to preach in university. Preaching in university. So how will I preach there? Look at what is the interest of the student. What is the interest? Want to be good in academics. So we're in the school. That is the interest. So the devotee will plan. Okay, they want to be good in academics. What is the best academics? What is the best? Krishna consciousness. Anything better than that? we yesterday, this morning, we referred to Krishna consciousness as what? Quoted one verse, 1340 this morning. Successful venture, right? So we describe Krishna consciousness is what? Successful venture. So we are making investment. We're making investment. Preaching is an investment of our intelligence and mind. Because we are going to make devotees who are going to be future of this world. So the sacrifice we make by using our intelligence and our mind is our investment. That investment will keep this movement on. So it requires planning and using the mind. How to plan. How to get devotees. When Behold came here with Jane, and they were introducing, this is an accountant, this is manager, this is cashier, this one is carpenter, this one is engineer, this one is... So they got all of them from school, professors. We we had a few months back, we had a global celebration. It was perfectly organized by young people in the movement, not young people who were up to 5 years in the movement, organized a global event which was very successfully celebrated. Why? Because they're professional. And they have been told that the perfection of their profession is in getting that in Krishna. So it was accepted. Because it was accepted, they engaged their mind to it, and it was celebrated successfully, very nicely. So it is planning involving the mind. Before the senses will start working, the mind has to plan it, then engage the senses in working, will succeed. The senses cannot go perfectly without the involvement of the mind. The mind has to engage the senses. Do something. Do you understand? See, I'll give you some practical example. If the eye sees something, that is the senses, right? That is the senses. If the eye sees something, without the help of the mind, that thing has no value yet. You understand? It doesn't have value until the mind accepts it. Then it becomes meaningful. Then the intelligent department start to plan how to get it for you. Yes? That's how it goes. So the senses cannot independently do something without the mind. Until the mind convinces us that this is very good. It's very good. When the mind accepts that, yes, this is very, very good, then the intelligence will start to work how to achieve that. So the senses come in only when the mind has accepted something. So the mind is very important. Therefore, we have to put effort in controlling the mind by engaging it in Krishna consciousness. And we have to plan our Krishna consciousness also with the mind. If we are going to, for example, we are going to do good japa tomorrow, we have to plan it today. We have to plan it today. The mind has to work. How am I going to change what I'm to do? Okay, I should sleep early. Right? I should sleep early. And if I want to sleep, okay, I should sleep early. But I should not engage the mind in any other activities than thinking. How am I going to change the mind? I should work early, take care of, wash the body, and then so be fresh. Then, so offer my respectful obeisances to the spiritual master, to holy name, to Haridas, to beg with Krishna. Then I should sit together with 𝐶𝐸𝐳𝐸. Damodara said, chanting Hare Krishna with 𝐶𝐸𝐳𝐸, anywhere there is 𝐶𝐸𝐳𝐸, Lord Narayan is there. Narayan cannot stay anywhere there is not 𝐶𝐸𝐳𝐸. So Narayan is always there. Wherever there is 𝐶𝐸𝐳𝐸, Narayan is there. See, if you are chanting Hare Krishna with 𝐶𝐸𝐳𝐸 and gazing at 𝐶𝐸𝐳𝐸, you will get Krishna very soon. So the mind is engaged. The mind is thinking, okay, I should be with 𝐶𝐸𝐳𝐸. Acharya said, if I gaze on Tulsi chanting japa. So the mind is thinking about this. I'm chanting with Tulsi Devi because it's very dear to Narayan. Narayan is here. For us as devotees, when I say Narayan, we're talking about Krishna. So Krishna is same with Tulsi Devi. So I'm chanting Krishna's name with Tulsi Devi, the best devotee. And our purpose is to help us get Krishna very quickly, very, very soon. So the mind is engaged in what we are doing. What is the question of the mind going away or disturbing us? The mind is with us. And because the mind is with us, chanting, you wouldn't know when you have finished 16 and very, very nicely. You wouldn't know when you chant 1 and 16 because it's very sweet. You're not struggling. You're not struggling. You're chanting the sweet name very nicely with all the blessings. So things will go very nicely. Very, very smooth. So my trembling is speaking. And Prabhupada is speaking in the purport. The purpose of yogic performances is explained here. What is the purpose? It is said that an experienced mystic attains full control of the senses and the mind by controlling the breathing process. You know how to do that? Breathing exercise. Huh? You know how to do that? Breathing exercise. Huh?
No.
No? No?
No.
When you dance, that is breathing. You don't know? And the easiest way to be non-envious. The easiest way to be non-envious when you're dancing. You don't remember you are this, you are that. You don't remember. You are completely free. This is yoga. Dancing in kirtan is breathing exercise. The people who are doing juggling in the streets, running, so people who could run, they are reducing the duration of their life. Breathing, we are reducing the duration of our life by breathing. The yogis, they extend the duration of their life by breathing exercise. So if people are running in the street, they are breathing faster, like the athletes. Athletes, they don't live longer because they're breathing too much. But when you dance in kirtan, it's not an athlete. It's not a physical exercise. This is a transcendental activity. Don't forget, when you dance and raise your hand, what are you doing? When you are dancing, what are you doing? When you run around, when you turn around, what are you doing? So, is that material?
No.
It is spiritual exercise. Your life will extend naturally. Long life. We're looking for long life. This is the natural way to do that. Yoga exercise. This is yoga. The mind becomes strengthened. The mind is fully active, but in Krishna. So in Krishna consciousness. The real purpose of yogic performances is to control the mind and the senses. Anyone who has such control is to be understood to be an experienced, mature, mystic yogi. It is indicated herein that a yogi who has control over the mind and senses has the actual benediction of the Lord. And he has no fear. In other words, one can not attain mercy and benediction of the Supreme Lord until one is able to control the mind and the senses by engaging the senses, the mind, in the service of Lord Krishna. This is actually possible when one fully engages in Krishna consciousness. A person whose senses and mind are always engaged in the transcendental service of the Lord has no possibility of engaging in the material service. A devotee constantly plan what we want to do, because our activities are all offering to Krishna. It is not just doing something, it is our offering. Therefore, devotee is planning how best to do my offering so that Krishna will accept it. The man is engaged in it. Man is engaged to get, I want to cook, to get the best ingredients, the best food stuff. Best environment for cooking. It's a joyful activity. So the mind is not free to act, but is engaged in planning our different services for Krishna. There is no time for a devotee to do something outside Krishna. Our activities are within Krishna. By this, the devotee of the Lord are not defeated anywhere in the universe. Anywhere. But all others, powerful sages, powerful mystic yogis, they're all defeated. All are defeated. The devotee is not defeated. Haridas Thakur was defeated? In the material calculation, what is the position of Haridas in the material calculation? What is the position? In the material situation, what is the Haridas Thakur position?
No.
Yes. What is the position of Vishwamitra Muni? Vishwamitra Muni, what is his position? Great mystic. He's the greatest mystic that time. What happened to him? After spending 60,000 years, he fell down. Haridas? Haridas? He fell down? Why? His mind is controlled. His mind is controlled. Durga Devi told Haridas, "You cheated me." Why you cheated me? Krishna is in your heart. Because Krishna is in your heart. His mind is fully Krishna conscious. So nobody can defeat him. He can defeat the whole world, but nobody can defeat him because the mind is focused on Krishna. Ambarish Maharaj?
No.
Who is him? Ambarish? Kshatriya. Saint Gratifier. Right? Yeah, it's the Saint Gratifier. The king. Only the king. Saint Gratifier. Saint Gratifier. Durvasa Muni? Great mystic? Great mystic. He has power to go to Vaikuntha. Huh? But what happened? What happened? He stayed there. He went to Vaikuntha. He stayed there. He couldn't stay there. Why? The mind is not controlled. And Bharat Maharaj's mind is controlled. So he defeated him. Defeated him completely. He was in anxiety for 1 year. And Bharat was in anxiety for 1 year. He was peaceful. Because his mind was controlled. Was peaceful. He did not get anxiety towards the money he was getting. He ran to Brahma, please, I cannot help you. Went to Shiva, no, I cannot help you. He went to Lord Vishnu, Lord Vishnu said, see, as Brahma, the Shiva didn't protect you, I cannot protect you. I cannot protect you. So, Bharat Maharaj defeated towards an It's a great mystery. Why? Why? What is his position? What is his secret? What is his power? His mind is controlled. He engaged his mind in Krishna consciousness 24 hours. He has power. He has power. So, the importance of controlling the mind cannot be overestimated. Very important to practice controlling the mind. That is Krishna consciousness. That is Krishna consciousness. Our mind has been polluted with so many nonsense things, dangerous things. The mind has been engaging. Krishna consciousness will help purify the mind. Therefore, those who are very, very intelligent, they do it through austerity, studying the Vedas, giving charity, and meditation by Bhakti Yoga, Krishna consciousness. So we have the practical tools to help us control the mind. Plan our Krishna consciousness every day. So plan every day. But we are very lazy. We are very lazy. We have strength to plan our material sense gratification, but when it comes to Krishna consciousness, we don't plan. People are going to their job, even though there's so many difficulties there, they don't complain, they still go to job. But in Krishna consciousness, they complain, oh, this is not, oh, look at it, look at that, see this happen, see that happen. In office, nothing is happening there. Yeah? In office, nothing is happening there. Office very peaceful. Everybody offer business in office. No complaint. So, what Krishna consciousness, see this one, see that person, see this one, see this one. Why do you waste our time looking at garbage? Why are we going to look at the nectar? Why are we looking for garbage? Why would you sacrifice nectar for garbage? Garbage is all available. Nectar is not so much available, but garbage is always available. Why we go for cheap things, we don't go for higher things? You should go for higher things, not for cheap things. Cheap things available is common for everybody, but higher things are not common for everybody. It is for highly fortunate personalities. So we should go for something which is very, very high, not something which is common. A person will not be called a hero if you do everything everybody is doing. Is it not? One is called a hero when you do something that nobody can do it. Then you're a hero. You're given a title. Complaining is everybody can do that easily. Everybody can do it. Seeing fault, everybody can easily do that. Very many can get hundreds and thousands. To control the senses is not easy. So devotees, but very, very fortunate. So here we see the strength of those who, the power of controlling the mind. You can raise a mountain up without touching it. If the mind is good. Means we capture the world by controlling the mind. As a devotee, you have no enemy in this world. You are very, very free like air. The mind is controlled. The mind is not controlled, we have a lot of problems. There's so much problems. Better to practice controlling the mind and never to be defeated by anyone in this world. That is the beauty of controlling the mind. You become the hero. Why do we glorify the simple Swamis? Why do we glorify them? They worship people all over the world. Why are they worship people all over the world? 𝐾𝐚𝐦𝐢 worship people? 𝐾𝐚𝐦𝐢?
No.
But why do we glorify, we worship the simple Swamis? Because they have full control of the senses. Therefore, they are fully respected and honored all over the world. So you want to be glorious? Want to be famous? Control the mind. That is our business. Our business in Krishna consciousness, to control the mind, not to give freedom to our senses, but to keep them under control. It's human life. It's human life. So every day we look how much the mind is giving us unnecessary trouble. Unnecessary trouble we get in this world because the mind is not controlled. If the mind is controlled, you're free. We will see things differently. You see the whole world as Christian property, and you want to use Christian property for his pleasure. If the mind is not controlled, you see the whole world as our property. Look at the whole world, people are trying, running here and there to squeeze the material world. But at the end, what happens? You get squeezed by the material world. See, one place is very tight, always. Everywhere, one place is very, very tight. Why? Because materialism is squeezing us every moment. So, it's a great fortune. Be a devotee. We have the knowledge how to control the mind. We engage in controlling the mind. And yes, we have a sweet Christian conscious life to live. Sweet Christian conscious. Get up in the morning and be smiling. Because another day for us to glorify this, another opportunity for us to chant for Him, to us to sing with devotees, to hear. It's a great opportunity. So we have. Engage the mind in thinking, or we're going to be here. Something about Krishna. Just pleasure. Let's entertain the mind. Hare Krishna. What is the questions? Yeah, go ahead.
Sometimes happen that our mind is we try to engage our mind in Krishna service, but sometimes he lacks in service and mind is going there and there. So how to control mind? Trying but lacking. How to control?
If you are engaging the mind in planning what you want to do, engage the mind in planning what you want to do. I'll give an example. If you're going to chant, I said, you have to plan. The mind has to be engaged in planning it tomorrow. What I should do today before I sleep, and what I should do as soon as I wake up tomorrow. That's how you're going to cook, you think of what an ingredient you want to use. How environment I want to cook. Kitchen is clean, all the utensils are clean, the ingredient high quality. Nice. Yes, Krishna is we get the best thing. Not necessarily to be expensive thing, but the quality things. Nice, fresh. Because this is for Krishna. No, I cannot offer this to Krishna. I offer something Krishna. Something very nice. Because he should be happy. While you're thinking like that and cooking, you don't need to offer that again. So they offer because Krishna is eating everything. So ready to you. If you're not thinking about it, you think, yeah, I'm very experienced cook now. Nobody cook like me. When I cook, everybody, yeah, I'm watching what you're going to tell me after the feast. Then that is not suitable for offering to Krishna. Even if you offer it, Krishna will not enjoy it. Because the mind is not properly engaged.
Like you were telling that we need to control our mind, but sometimes we've also heard that we cannot control our mind and senses. Krishna, if we have to engage our mind and senses in Krishna service, then Krishna will control. So I just need to understand the balance between it. Can we do something to control our mind, or is it totally up to Krishna to make our mind and senses under control?
Then Krishna would have done that to everybody. Krishna would have done that to everybody. We have to engage the mind to Krishna in the same day. Krishna will take over. If you don't leave it like that, then Krishna will control. We have to engage it. That is our duty. We have to engage it. Then Krishna will take care of it. That's the best instruction. Yes, that's how to do it. We apply the mind in planning, designing. We saw, Jane, the devotee, making dresses for Krishna. So they are designing. That is how the mind is engaged. I will do the design. In the mind is thinking, to come out with such a nice location of joy. Rather than go to enjoy this. So they are designing that. This is how we use the same thing. That is Christian consciousness. And there is no chance that the mind is going to go, because the mind is fixed in that design. The mind is there thinking, I'm doing it very, I will do it perfectly. I designed Radhastami. I did what Radhastami last year. This year, I will not do the same thing. I want to change it this way. So, you see, the mind is engaged, and you're already seeing that, even before it will become fully manifested. It's already accepted by cemetery or Krishna or Prabhupada. That is how we engage the mind. the mind become, our senses, they all become purified because they engage in planning, they're doing something practical. When we finally offer them to them, they will be happy. You feel the amount of joy that will pass through your heart. Because it's accepted.
One more question. If we feel that we have to control our mind and senses, then one kind of controllership mentality would not come in ourselves.
That is the problem. The problem is that our mind is already complicated with so many. Even in the process of trying to engage the mind is just calculating, and at the end, the mind is still troubled. Just plan your Krishna conscious activities. Just plan how you want to do it, and forget about the complexities. Forget about the complexities. Just engage the mind in planning what I should do as an offering to my Lord. Just that. And that trouble will be taken care by the Krishna. He will handle it for us. When you make attempt, and Krishna this will come is that without making attempt, Krishna will not come. He will live like that. If you make attempt, as Prabhupada said, try your best, Krishna will help you. That's it. Try your best, Krishna will help you, Prabhupada said. Try our best means what? We are engaging the senses according to the particular service of what want to do. In Krishna will come. That's the process.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, while chanting and in many activities, like devotional activities, while mind is interrupting us, first time we can control it. I mean, we can get again into chanting. Second time also like that. But after some time, we lack the determination. We fall prey to it. So, how to have that continuous determination to control the mind?
In the morning, we were discussing that we should forget the mind. We should forget the mind. Just try to hear the chant. Don't worry about other things. Just try to hear the name. If you are trying to hear the name, you will not remember the dictation of the nonsense of the mind. If you just try to hear, just try. I want to hear the name of the chant. That's all we should try. Just try to hear the name. That's all. If you try to hear, you will not remember the mind. It's natural they will not remember the mind. Just like if something is really disturbing you, you won't forget about the mind. You won't remember the mind. You are busy thinking about that thing that is disturbing you. So the mind will not be an issue. The mind becomes an issue when there is no engagement. We are conscious of the mind will be what. So we should not be conscious of the mind. We should try to be conscious of the name. Just try to hear the name. Then we are free. All right?
Maharaj, that controlling the mind means becoming more dependent on Krishna. Like Amrish Maharaj, if mind is controlled, it becomes more dependent on Krishna. By becoming more dependent, we can control our mind.
Yes. Yes. depend on Krishna. If we depend on Krishna, we control the mind. How do we depend on Krishna? How do we depend on Krishna? We are planning our Krishna conscious activities, our Krishna conscious life. We are planning it. So that is depending on Krishna. I'm planning it for Krishna. Krishna will come in to help me. It is said, heaven help those who help themselves. Heaven help those who help themselves. God help those who are helping themselves. What does that mean? We are trying, making some effort, then Krishna will come in. What it means. We have varieties of things to do in Krishna consciousness. Yes, it is activities we should do. And we are doing that. We don't just jump into something. Okay, I want to have kirtan. Just start chanting. A devotee came to Srila Prabhupada and complained, my mind is very stubborn, disturbing me, Prabhupada. Nothing has any meaning to me. Nothing. The door is a terrible day. So Prabhupada did not give him philosophy. He asked him to go and bring kata. And for 20 minutes, Prabhupada asked him, listen, listen. As I'm chanting, Prabhupada was singing, and the devotee was listening and following that. So the mind of the devotee is engaged. The guru is singing these sweet songs. So he's looking at Prabhupada and listening to the name. Where is the mind? Where is the mind? He has forgotten the mind. He has forgotten. Didn't remember the mind. For 20 minutes, the mind is what is guru and the name Prabhupada is chanting. After 20 minutes, Prabhupada asked him, how are you feeling? Perfect. So the mind is forgotten. The mind is forgotten. That is how to depend. We should use the mind. Planning Krishna. I'm just repeating what? Just engage the mind. In planning our Krishna consciousness. Then Krishna will come. And that is how we attend to it. Right?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you Maharaj for just control mind by engaging. Maharaj, I have a question. We have our own conception sometimes. Sometimes, for example, if chanting is remaining and we are doing some activity at that time, so the mind is worried that just finish fastly that any activity and do chanting or reading, hearing, which is we think that direct form of connecting with Krishna. So how that activity we are doing that time become Krishna consciousness, because we totally forgetting at that time and we are finishing just as to finish that.
Well, because that activity you are doing, like His Holiness 𝐤𝐬𝐬. In Juhi was They do the construction. And the construction time was what? Cement, iron rods, workers, mosquitoes, snakes, anxiety from the workers stealing the material. So you went to Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, I want to go to Vrindavan. Prabhupada said, for what? I cannot think of Krishna. I'm just worried about cement and the iron rods and the thieves and the workers. How can I be Krishna conscious? This is not Krishna consciousness. I'm not remembering Krishna. So if I go to Vrindavan, then I can peacefully chant. Prabhupada said, don't you want to be purified? Yeah, Prabhupada want to be purified. Then you can't count the cement. Count for them. Don't allow tears to children. Even after coconut, Prabhupada was very conscious that they should not allow the workers to take the coconut. Krishna conscious Prabhupada is everything. So how is that connected with Krishna? Because they are building temple for who? That is Krishna conscious. That iron rod and cement is Krishna. That is Krishna. So if one is engaged in counting that, the mind will not disturb him. The mind is engaged. I'm taking care of this for Krishna. That is Krishna. We get purified. So Prabhupada told him, don't you want to be purified? He said, yes. Count the cement. Count it. Make sure the team does not steal anything. The worker doesn't steal anything. That is Krishna. Because you're not building the temple, building for Krishna. And Krishna told Shishirada Rasbihari, stay here. I will build you a temple later. So, and we're staying there. The Prabhupada is building temple. And we are facilitating that, thinking about how many number of cement bags, the iron rods, the workers. That is Krishna. Let's have the senses be engaged. Planning how to deal with the workers. It's Krishna. The mind will not disturb us. When we are free from all these things, now we have big offices, we have facilities, then we have many devotees, complacency comes. And Bhagavad Gita described complacency as a demon, 1617. It's a demon, not a devotee. Many devotees become complacent in our Krishna consciousness, thinking what we have now is the result of our Krishna consciousness. The result of Krishna consciousness is not material position. It's not. The result of Krishna consciousness is Krishna prayer, not anything less. If the mind is not fully engaged, we are going to think this is our achievement. Then we relax. Now we have so many right book. He used place of persona come before you as a result of Japa. That becomes our reward. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. So we should be very careful with the mind. The mind should not trick us at any time. So we should always engage the mind, engage something. Plan how to execute our Krishna consciousness. So plan. Think about our services. how we're going to do it. How to expand Christian consciousness. That should be the anxiety of devotees. Not material anxiety. Material anxiety means our mind is not properly engaged. Spiritual anxiety means your mind is properly engaged. And we're getting purification. Get purification. Which is spiritual. So the Papa did not allow him to go to Vrindavan. Stay here. Do this service. He did. Glorious. So read this book of Dhira, so wonderful. All right?
Maharaj, sometimes it happens that we are engaged in some service and we ask for some help to a devotee and he denies for no reason. And in mental level, we may blaspheme or we may commit some offense in mental level. So, how to control mind not to blaspheme?
Yes. Yeah, and the mind will say, look at this devotee. You think I'm a slave? We all came here to do service. Am I being paid? He said, for the treating. Why you not doing something? Continue like that. But actually, you are cheating that devotee. Do you hear? You are cheating that devotee. Therefore, you should not cheat yourself by thinking bad about that devotee. You should know Krishna has given the opportunity to get purified. So here is this opportunity that we have service to do, and this devotee doesn't want to do anything. So not doing anything means not going to get purified. Not doing anything means I'm not going to control the mind. But doing something means I'm going to control the mind. They are going to get Krishna's mercy by doing that. So you should think yourself fortunate instead of thinking bad about anybody. Think yourself fortunate. Oh, Krishna, you are very kind that they are giving me this service. Don't think that you are inferior. Those devotees are more important or inferior, so I'm not doing so many things. Don't think like that. Think, yes, Krishna, you are very kind to me that you are giving me this service so I can get purified. So let me do it to the best of my ability. So think like that. Understand? Yes. I was telling some devotees my experience. when we joined, we went to a different place where there's no temple, to start a temple. We are nine devotees who were sent there to start the center. And our time, every devotee will go Sankirtan. So we will go on Sankirtan, and I was doing Pujari service that time. When we are returning from the Sankirtan, then I will branch somewhere to pick the flowers we're going to use that evening and the next morning. So when I will tell some brothers, can you please come with me to please? I'm seriously pressed. I have to go to the toilet. Please, can you excuse me? He does like this regularly. He's thinking that you should say this. They should say, why are you calling me? I should say this. But because he doesn't want to do it in a gross way, he's being very subtly. I am very pressed. I want to go to the toilet immediately. Please, just excuse me. Excuse me. So in my mind, I will be laughing. Only one devotee follows me. Others will give so many excuses. You know what is happening? See, all those devotees are not in the movement now. What is the service, the sacrifice they were making? They're not making any sacrifice. They didn't last in the movement. So do the service you have to do from the heart. Don't think that you are doing something which is material. It is spiritual. Spiritual. That is where benefit Krishna has given it to you. It is Krishna who makes it that way, that you should do it for purification. So you should be grateful to Krishna and don't look at the devotees. Don't look at devotees. Look at the fact that Krishna has given this chance for my purification. Let me do it as best as I can. That will protect your Krishna consciousness. Yes, our experience. There are many experiences. And what will sustain a devotee in Krishna consciousness? Do service from the mind. Not as punishment. Don't do service. Any service at all in Krishna consciousness as punishment. Don't. This is Krishna's mercy. It's Krishna's mercy. It's an opportunity for me to purify myself.